ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು
ಆಯ್ತು.
ಆಡಿಯೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತೀರಾ?
ಆಡಿಯೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಚಿತ್ರವಾಗಿದೆ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್,
ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಸು ಹೇಳೋದು ಯಾವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಮೈಂಡ್.
On stage, the Honorable Dignitaries, Honorable Shri Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge, Supreme Court of India. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as I invite the Honorable guests onto the stage. Honorable Shri Justice Abhay S. Oak, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable Shri Justice Ritu Raj Awasthi, the Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka and Patron Chief, SLSA. Please keep the applause going. We have wonderful guests who have arrived here just now. Honorable Shri Justice B. Veerappa, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Executive Chairman, KSLSA. And Honorable Shri Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Chairman, High Court Legal Services Committee. A very warm welcome to each and every one of you, sir. Do please take your seats. So, ladies and gentlemen, I often desist welcoming an audience with a good afternoon, especially after a sumptuous lunch. So in that spirit, a very good evening to each and everyone present here, our honorable dignitaries on and off stage, as well as the delegates who've been here since yesterday to participate in this two-day event, the Silver Jubilee celebration of Karnataka State Legal Services Authority. So we begin with the theme song right now.
Karnataka State Legal Services Authority. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಳಲನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಆಲಿಸುವವರಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂಬ ಚಿಂತೆ ಏಕೆ? ಈಗ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯವೇ ನಡೆದು ಬರುವುದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಂಗಳಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಸಹಾಯಕರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವುದು ನ್ಯಾಯ, ನೊಂದವರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವುದು ನ್ಯಾಯ, ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವುದು ನ್ಯಾಯ, ಶೋಷಿತರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುವುದು ನ್ಯಾಯ. ಜೀವಭಾವದ ದೇಶ ಭಾರತ ಎಂಬ ಹಕ್ಕು ನಮ್ಮದು, ಭೇದ ಮಾಡದ ನ್ಯಾಯ ದೇಗುಲ ಎಂಬ ಹಕ್ಕು ನಮ್ಮದು. ನೀರಿನ ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿನ ಉಸಿರ ಹಕ್ಕು ನಮ್ಮದು, ಹೂವು ಚೆಲ್ಲುವ ಹಾದಿಯಲ್ಲಿಯ ಹಸಿರ ಹಕ್ಕು ನಮ್ಮದು. ಬಡವರು ಹಾಗೂ ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗಾಗಿ ಉಚಿತ ಮತ್ತು ಸಕ್ಷಮ ಕಾನೂನು ಸಲಹೆಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಬದ್ಧ ಕಾನೂನು ಸೇವಾ ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರ ಕಾಲ್ಸಾ, ನ್ಯಾಯ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗಾಗಿ.
We have gathered here for the valedictory function of the Silver Jubilee celebration of Karnataka State Legal Services Authority. I would like to now request Honorable Shri Justice B. Veerappa, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Executive Chairman of KSLSA, to kindly welcome the honorable guests on the stage as well as the delegates.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Good afternoon to one and all, honorable dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. We reached the concluding part of 2 days Silver Jubilee celebration. The inaugural address by the Honorable Sri Justice V. Lalit, Senior Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Executive Chairman NALSA has set the tone for the celebration, and we have witnessed many legal brains dwelling upon the topics for deliberation. I was keenly watching a few proceedings, and it is overwhelming to see active participation from all quarters. I strongly believe that after this Silver Jubilee celebrations, my sister and brother judges in the legal service institutions in the state will carry bright ideas and solutions to their problems so that the needy beneficiaries will get free legal aid and better access justice for all. It is my privilege and honor to welcome this August gathering. My Lord Honorable Sri Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge, Supreme Court of India, former Chief Justice of the High Court of Karnataka, and also Pattern Chief Khalsa, who is a disciplined judicial commander, has been kind enough to grace the occasion, both inaugural ceremony as well as this valedictory function. His Lordship was kind enough to accept the invitation to deliver valedictory address. I extend warm welcome to your Lordship. My Lord Honorable Justice I.V.C. Srinivas Voka, Judge, Supreme Court of India, former Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, and also former Pattern Chief Khalsa, has always been guiding and supporting the legal service activities. During his Lordship's tenure, my Lord has created history by conducting e-Lok Adalats in the state of Karnataka during COVID pandemic. His Lordship is known for simplicity and discipline and always adheres the principles of work is worship. The designation of former judges of this court into NALSA schemes conducted e-Lok Adalats, extracting work from Khalsa in Judicial. His Lordship great contribution to the state of Karnataka. That is why we always lovingly called him, his Lordship, as Kayak Yogi. On behalf of the High Court of Karnataka and Khalsa, I extended a respectful welcome to Lordship. My Lord Justice Rituraj Avasthi, Chief Justice of the High Court of Karnataka, Pattern and Chief Khalsa, has been ever supportive in all our endeavors. The entire success of this Silver Jubilee celebration must go to His Lordship. On behalf of the Khalsa, extend respectful welcome to your Lordship. My brother Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, Judge High Court of Karnataka and Chairman High Court Legal Service Committee, has always been with me. My brother also chaired Session 3 effectively. On behalf of the Khalsa, extend a warm welcome to you, sir. My brother, sister judges, Honorable Justice K. Somshakar, Honorable Justice Madam K. S. Mudgal, Honorable Justice H. P. Sandesh, and Honorable Justice Shishananda have participated during the sessions and appropriately guided the officers. I extend a warm welcome to all my brothers, sister judges at the High Court of Karnataka who responded to our invitation and made it convenient to attend the inaugural program and also this valedictory function. I also extend warm welcome to all my brother, sister judges who wholeheartedly supported all my endeavors like a China wall. I also extend welcome to Senior Brother Justice Alok Aradhya, former Justice N. Venugopal Gowda. I extend warm welcome to T.J. Shivshankar Gowda, Registrar General, High Court of Karnataka, and all other registrars, High Court of Karnataka. I also extend warm welcome to Venkatesh Nath, Principal Law Secretary, Government of Karnataka, Department Law, and his team who are actively supporting KALSA. I extend warm welcome to Ramchandra D. Uddar, Director, Karnataka State Legal Service Academy, his team, Sri H.M. Nanjun Swami, Director, Arbitration Center, and his team, Sri S.A. Udayatil Sarippa, Director, Bengaluru Center, and his team. I extend warm welcome to Ashok Kumar Jain, Member Secretary, NALSA, and his team, and also Member Secretaries, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Kerala, and Chhattisgarh who attended this event. I also welcome all the learned chairpersons of District Legal Authority, Member Secretaries, Taluka Services Committees who attend this event as delegates. I welcome all the officials, non-official members of KALSA. Last but not least, I wholeheartedly welcome the members, the press and media. I extend a warm welcome to all who are watching this program through virtual mode. I earnestly request all the stakeholders, in particular chairpersons of District Legal Service Authority, Member Secretaries of District Legal Service Authorities, Taluka Legal Service Committees, strive hard like a judicial soldier and ensure number of disposals in upcoming local law schedule to be held on 20th June 2022 to access justice for all. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka. Thank you, Ananda.
Many thanks to you, sir. As a mark of our deep gratitude and appreciation, we'd like to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. To begin with, I'd request Honorable Shri Justice Rituraj Avasthi, the Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka and Patron-in-Chief, Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, to kindly come up on stage to honor Honorable Shri Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause as we honor the Honorable Shri Justice Dinesh Maheshwari. I would like to bring it to the notice of all the delegates who come from across India that this is the traditional way of felicitating dignitaries in Karnataka. The headgear is called the Mysuru Peta, which was the traditional headgear of the Maharajas of Mysore. And the garland, if you notice, is the Elaichi garland, sourced especially from Haveri, from North Karnataka. Thank you very much. I would now like to call upon Honorable Shri Justice B. Veerappa, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Executive Chairman, KSLSA, to kindly honor Honorable Shri Justice Abhay S. O, Judge. I request you, sir, to kindly honor Shri Justice Rituraj Avasthi. We will now be honoring Honorable Shri Justice Rituraj Avasthi, the Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka and Patron-in-Chief, Khalsa. Honorable Shri Justice B. Veerappa and Honorable Shri Justice B.P.S. Dinesh Kumar are doing the honors. Karnataka to kindly come on stage to honor Honorable Shri Justice B. Veerappa, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Executive Chairman, Kalsa. I'd like to now call upon Shri Anil Bhimsen Katti, City Civil Court, Bengaluru, to kindly honor Shri Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Chairman, High Court Legal Services Committee. Kalsa is deeply honored by the presence of each of these dignitaries on stage. Thank you very much. I would now like to request Honorable Shri Justice Ritu Raj Avasti, the Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka and Patron-in-Chief, Karnataka State Legal Services Authorities, to kindly address the audience.
My Lord, Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Abhay S. Oak, Judge Supreme Court of India, my brother Justice B. Veerappa, Judge High Court of Karnataka and Executive Chairman, Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, my brother Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, Judge High Court of Karnataka and Chairman, High Court Legal Services Committee, my esteemed sister and brother judges, Mr. T.G. Shiv Shankare Gowda, Registrar General, High Court of Karnataka, other registrars of the High Court, Mr. H. Shashidhar Shetty, Member Secretary, and other officers of Kalsa, Member Secretaries and officers of legal services authorities of other states who all are present in this function, learned members of the bar, senior advocates who are present, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Yelarigu Namaskara. It is indeed a pleasure to address this august gathering on this valedictory session of the Silver Jubilee celebration of Karnataka Legal Services Authority. Today we have here amongst us two honorable judges of the Apex Court. Both the lordships were the former Chief Justices of Karnataka High Court and former Patron-in-Chief of Kalsa. Though they do not hail from Karnataka state, the people of Karnataka consider them as part of Karnataka. I also endorse the statement made by His Lordship Justice Dinesh Maheshwari during his address in the inaugural session that once a chief is always a chief. Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Maheshwari has been so much attached to Karnataka that His Lordship was kind enough to accept our invitation to attend not only the inaugural session but also the valedictory session and to address the gathering. My Lord Honorable Mr. Justice Abhay S. Oak, Judge Supreme Court of India, was the Chief Justice of Karnataka for a period of 2.5 years and is known for his simplicity and hard work. The innovative measures taken by His Lordship to see that courts function even during the pandemic and lockdown period is remembered and highly appreciated by the people of Karnataka. We had a galaxy of judges. we had the galaxy of judges gracing the inaugural ceremony yesterday and addressing the gathering. Several valuable advices and suggestions were given by them for the improvement of the system. Felicitations were made to former executive chairpersons of KALSA, including Honorable Mr. Justice R.V. Ravindran, and also to those former High Court judges who have been designated for implementation of NALSA schemes. In the inaugural address, His Lordship Justice Jubilee has emphasized the need for increasing legal awareness among the people and pointed out that only in 5% of the criminal cases legal services are availed, though the accused in 60% of the criminal cases are below the poverty line. His Lordship also mentioned about the need to increase the confidence level of the people in the legal services system, which could be done by availing the pro bono services of competent and senior advocates. Therefore, there is a need to encourage large number of competent and talented lawyers at all levels to render pro bono legal services. His Lordship also suggested that involving more number of students in creating legal awareness amongst the masses. Honorable Mr. Justice S. Abdul Nazir, Judge Supreme Court of India, said that judges presiding over courts should ensure level playing fields and see that poor litigants are not deprived of justice merely because they cannot engage competent lawyers of their choice due to their financial incapacity. Honorable Mr. Justice Dinesh Maheshwari said that the legal services should be inclusive and that it should reach all needy sections of society. Honorable Mr. Justice A.S. Bopanna, Judge Supreme Court of India, cautioned that legal aid for poor should not be a poor legal aid and that effective legal services should be given to them. Honorable Mr. Justice Ravi Malimat, Chief Justice of High Court of Madhya Pradesh, spoke about the challenges in identifying people who are in need of legal aid and legal services. Honorable Mr. Justice Arvind Kumar, Chief Justice of High Court of Gujarat, made important suggestions regarding incorporation of information technology in improving the legal services, such as establishing e-office, e-lok adalat and virtual legal consultations. Yesterday and today, the various sessions which were held resulted in very useful and thought-provoking deliberations touching various aspects of legal services. I am sure that the deliberations will go a long way in improving the functioning of the legal services authorities and committees. It will help in paralegal volunteers, panel lawyers and all persons associated with the work of legal services to improve their functioning and thereby strengthen the court-based legal services and the clinic-based legal services at all levels. There were also useful deliberations on financial management and utilization of certificates relating to grants from NALSA and KALSA, which would help the authorities in effective management of the funds. Some insights were also given on the methodology to be adopted while visiting prisons, child care institutions, observation homes, homes for the disabled, old aged and women, and for collecting data from such institutions. The judicial officers, chairmen and member secretaries of legal services authorities and committees, paralegal volunteers, panel lawyers play an important role in rendering effective legal services. These deliberations will enhance common understanding and will help in meeting the current and future challenges in rendering legal services. I am sure that the knowledge gained from the deliberations would be of great help to all of you involved in work of legal services. Before I conclude, I would like to convey my heartfelt appreciation to Brother Justice B. Virappa and Brother Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar for successfully organizing this function. I would like to thank all the honorable judges who chaired the sessions and the panelists who participated in the deliberations. I also thank the delegates for attending this two-day function. Thank you all.
Many thanks to Honorable Shri Justice Rituraj Avasti for sharing his thoughts with our audience. I would now like to request Honorable Shri Justice Abhay S. Oak, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to kindly speak a few words.
My esteemed senior colleague, Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Justice Rituraj Avasti, Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, Patron-in-Chief of Karnataka Legal Services Authority, Khalsa, Senior Most Judge, Justice Alok Arade, Justice B. Veerappa, Executive Chairperson of Khalsa, Justice G. Narendra, Justice P. Dinesh Kumar, Chairman of the High Court Legal Services Committee, sister and brother judges of Karnataka High Court, Member Secretary and other office bearers of Khalsa, Principal District Judges, the Secretaries of the District Legal Services Authority, Judicial Officers, senior members of the Bar who are helping Khalsa, ladies and gentlemen, I consider it to be a great privilege to be a part of this historic function. I was associated with Khalsa as Patron-in-Chief from 10th May 2019 till 31st August 2021. Though before coming to Karnataka, I was a judge of the Bombay High Court for a considerably long time of 15 years and 7 months. After taking oath as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 31st of August 2021, I realized that my true recognition in Delhi is on the basis of my association with Karnataka High Court. Today is not the day to discuss the provisions of Legal Services Authorities Act. I am sure that today and yesterday there must have been deliberations. But I must say that it took almost 40 years after the independence to give statutory recognition to the right to get legal aid. Though in view of constitutional provisions, it was always an obligation of the state to provide free legal aid to poor litigants. In 1949, in England, for the first time, Legal Aid and Advice Act was enacted. In 1949, a committee was appointed in the state of Bombay. At that time, substantial part of Karnataka was part of state of Bombay. The committee was headed by Justice N.H. Bhagwati, then a judge of the Bombay High Court. The committee made several recommendations on the issue of providing legal aid and legal advice. On the basis of the report of the committee submitted in 1949, which was influenced mainly by the British Act, some elementary legal aid was being provided in erstwhile state of Bombay. The real impetus was given to legal aid movement by Mr. Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer. In 1972, a committee was constituted to make recommendations about providing legal aid to the poor and deserving. Justice Krishna Iyer headed the committee. He submitted a detailed report on the issue of making available legal advice and legal aid to the weaker sections of the community and persons with limited means. Again in 1979, a committee was constituted by the Government of India under the chairmanship of Mr. Justice P.N. Bhagwati for implementing legal aid schemes. Perhaps some of you may not be aware that Justice P.N. Bhagwati, long before Legal Services Act came into force, started Lok Adalats in Gujarat. The committee, headed by Justice P.N. Bhagwati, not only formulated legal aid programs, but also formulated programs for creating legal awareness amongst the people. The committee formulated a model scheme for establishment of state legal aid and advice boards. If we look at the scheme of 1987 Act, we find that the object is not confined to giving legal aid to the persons who satisfy the tests laid down in Section 12. If we look at Section 4, which deals with functions of NALSA, National Legal Services Authority, it is apparent that the functions of the authorities under 1987 Act are not confined to providing legal aid to the poor, litigants and organizing local adalats. The duty of the legal services authorities is to encourage settlement of disputes by way of negotiation, arbitration and conciliation. Another important function is to take measures for spreading legal literacy and legal awareness amongst people. The legal services authorities are under an obligation to do all things necessary for the purposes of commitment, for ensuring commitment to the fundamental duties of citizens under Article 51A of the Constitution of India. So far, the legal services authorities in India have not taken any steps in this direction. It is a duty and obligation of the State Legal Services Authority to file social justice litigations with regard to consumer protection, environment protection, or any other matters of special concern to the weaker sections of the society. That is how NALSA has come out with various schemes which are for the benefit of disaster victims, victims of trafficking, mentally ill and mentally disabled persons, protection of tribal rights, workers in unorganized sectors and victims of acid attacks, etc. I firmly believe that it is the function and duty of all the legal services authorities to ensure that the poor and needy sections get the benefit of various schemes, not only of NALSA but of the government. There are many statutory schemes such as free meal to children in the age group of 3 to 6 years, free meal to pregnant women through Anganwadis under the provisions of the Food Security Act. There are other schemes available such as free cooking gas to poor families. It is the duty of the legal services authorities at district and taluka levels to ensure that benefits of various government schemes are made available to those who deserve it. From 2017 onwards, a new model of mega legal services camps was introduced. It started happening in the state of Madhya Pradesh when first such mega legal aid camp was held at a place known as Rewa. As part of the Legal Services Authority of Maharashtra, we conducted 3 such mega legal aid camps. In fact, the entire Karnataka model, a far better version than Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, was ready in 2019. But because of COVID pandemic, we somehow could not take that event further, because this is an event where more than 30, 40, 50,000 people participate. Hopefully, if there is no fourth wave, now in Karnataka, its own model of this mega legal aid camps can be implemented. I am sure that if coronavirus permits, it will surely happen. KALSA has been very, very active for all these years. Apart from organizing routine activities like local adalats, KALSA has filed several social justice litigations for helping various causes of the poor and needy, as well as the cause of environment. I may share a few examples with you. In one of the bigger cities in the state, the local authority had not implemented the provisions of the Solid Waste Management Rules 2016. As a result of heavy rains, there was a landslide which resulted into spread of solid waste dumped illegally by the municipal corporation. About 6 lakhs and more metric tons of solid waste fell on very large tract of land. As a result, many lost their houses. Many poor people lost their houses. They were mainly agriculturists. Many of them lost their agricultural crop. Many of them lost their agricultural land. KALSA filed a public interest litigation through a very senior and distinguished lawyer and ensured that a scheme for payment of compensation and rehabilitation is formulated by the authorities. In fact, District Legal Services Authority ensured that compensation was paid to each and every deserving victim under the scheme. This is only one of the illustrations. I can cite many examples. In many public interest litigations, though Khalsa was not a party, the court summoned services of Khalsa. Court sought assistance of Khalsa. One such example is of a public interest litigation filed by an institution inviting attention of the authorities to the issue of large number of children begging or selling toys on the streets of Bengaluru. Khalsa was summoned before the court. Khalsa held various meetings and a comprehensive scheme for protection and rehabilitation of children was formulated by Khalsa. This scheme included a very novel concept of starting signal schools for such children by using old buses of BMTC. A comprehensive report was submitted by Khalsa in public interest litigation concerning potholes on the streets of Bengaluru. Member secretaries of all district legal services authorities visited various urban shelter homes in the cities and submitted a comprehensive report recording its poor condition. Similarly, under the orders of the court, secretaries of district legal services authorities visited more than 100 primary health centers in nook and corner of the state and submitted a report about the condition of the primary health centers. My address will not be complete without acknowledging huge work done by Khalsa as well as the district and taluka services, legal services authorities during the lockdown and pandemic. The secretaries of the district legal services authorities, even during the pandemic, continued to make jail visits for making the prisoners aware about the orders passed by the Supreme Court of India for decongestion of prisons and for release of prisoners on bail and on parole. They are so enthusiastic that so many were quarantined, so many were infected. So ultimately at one point of time, I have to pass an order directing that District Legal Services Authority secretaries should not visit the jails where too many people were getting infected. When the issue of migrants was being dealt with on the judicial side, the secretaries of the District Legal Services Authorities used to regularly visit camps set up for migrant workers by the state government and used to submit exhaustive reports about the conditions of camps and migrants to the High Court on the judicial side. I must acknowledge here that some of the lawyers who used to appear on behalf of Khalsa in COVID-related litigation used to visit areas in the city of Bengaluru where migrant workers were stranded due to complete lockdown, and they used to give their personal feedback at the time of hearing. As the Chief Justice also said, Justice Virappa said, Khalsa took a very innovative step of involving our retired but very, very enthusiastic judges to deal with implementation of various schemes of NALSA. One of them is fortunately present today. Justice Venugopal Gowda is present today. There were 12 judges who were given responsibility of implementing various schemes of NALSA. I used to attend various meetings with the then executive chairperson with these retired judges, and I must say that they were much more enthusiastic than we who are part of the setup. Even during COVID-19 period, the same learned retired judge who is present here and one of other retired judge of the Karnataka High Court, they monitored and oversee the work of government bodies relating to COVID pandemic. There was one hospital where it was alleged that due to non-supply of oxygen, large number of patients died in the second wave. One of our retired judges went all the way to that district place, held inquiry and submitted a report on the basis of which state government had to grant compensation to the families of the victims. This important role played by Khalsa, district and taluk legal service authorities, has to be acknowledged. Those were very difficult days, and I am sure that even during the third wave when I was not here, the same role must have been performed by the legal service authorities. Successive executive chairpersons were very proactive while discharging their duties. In September 2020, when most of the high courts in the country were only thinking in terms of resuming normal functioning, a mega state level e-Lok Adalat was held in very difficult circumstances in September 2020. More than 1,15,000 cases were disposed of in the e-Lok Adalat held in September. Even in those difficult days, more than 850 panels were constituted. I am sure that yesterday, the number of cases disposed of in the Lok Adalats held thereafter must have been discussed and deliberated upon. Khalsa has shown its potential of holding large number of Lok Adalats, disposing of large number of cases. So nobody is going to doubt the ability of Khalsa to do that. Now the numbers have been achieved. My humble suggestion is that now time has come to see that through Lok Adalats, such disputes are settled which are not normally settled before the court. Few examples I'll give: partition suits, specific performance suits, commercial suits, and most importantly, matrimonial disputes. Because now all of us know that one matrimonial dispute leads to minimum 4 litigations. Maybe one criminal case under 498A, Section 12 complaint under DV Act, 125 petition under CRPC. Now, these are the kinds of litigation which consume lot of time of the court. Partition suits, specific performance suits, commercial suits and matrimonial litigation. They consume lot of time of the court, not only trial courts, appellate court, high court, supreme court. So these are the difficult matters which are normally not settled. Now Khalsa is so much equipped that now Khalsa can shift its focus to such kind of matters where we can give real relief to the litigants and more importantly real relief to the judiciary as a whole. Because these are the matters which consume lot of time of the judges. Thus it can be said that Khalsa has achieved a lot during last 25 years. However, much remains to be done. There are many schemes of NALSA which are not yet fully implemented in the state. Fortunately, we have benefit of retired judges. Their presence is itself very valuable. They are making all-out efforts to see that these schemes are implemented in the state. In High Court, very eminent advocates represent Khalsa in all these social interest litigations. But perhaps at district and taluk level, we have to inspire senior lawyers to participate more in legal aid matters. Yesterday I was told need to have large-scale legal literacy programs was emphasized yesterday. That's what I was told. During last about 19 years, I realized that even educated citizens are not aware about the provisions of law, and in particular criminal law. And that is how when a judicial officer or a judge grants bail or grants acquittal, there is a lot of criticism on social media. Because even the educated classes do not realize difference between grant of bail and acquittal. They do not know why bail is granted. So at all levels in the society, it is absolutely necessary to have large-scale legal literacy programs. That is the need of the hour. There is a complete lack of knowledge about the justice delivery system in our country. Without realizing how the justice delivery system works, we face a lot of criticism. In this area, we need to work more by involving not only members of the bar, but also paralegal volunteers. I have no manner of doubt that the success story of last 25 years will not only continue, but grow in future. I wish a great success to Khalsa and all its legal services authorities at district and taluk level. The services of large number of enthusiastic young judicial officers, paralegal volunteers and legal aid lawyers are available to Khalsa at district and taluk level. as well as at High Court level. With their active participation, I see a way forward. I thank the office bearers of Khalsa and its executive chairperson for making me a part of this historic event. I must also thank them for one more reason. It gave me an opportunity to come back to Bengaluru, which I always consider to be my second home. Thank you very much. Good wishes to all of you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words. I would now like to request Honorable Shri Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to make the valedictory address.
Yanagaru Namaskara and late afternoon to all. My esteemed Brother Justice Abhay, Honorable the Chief Justice, Justice Irturaj Avasti, my esteemed brothers, Justice B. Virappa and Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, my brothers and sisters on the bench of the High Court of Karnataka, Mr. Shiv Shankar Gaura, the Registrar General, Mr. Shashidhara Shetty, the Member Secretary, SLSA, our esteemed brother, Justice Venugopal Gaura, Mr. Ashok Kumar Jain, the Member Secretary in Nalsara, who is all through present silently with all of you. The members of the Judiciary, students, ladies, gentlemen, and the members of the media. Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, under the leadership of Brother Justice Virappa, and under the umbrella of the Veteran-in-Chief, Brother Justice Irturaj Avasti, have, I don't know why, handed me down the most difficult of the task of this two-day meet, and that is to keep you all awake after the sumptuous lunch. And coupled with that, keep you on the alert mode also on this last presentation with the time to say goodbye and go home. So for what length of time I am able to hold you here, maybe a test of a person who had the privilege to have been the Chief Justice of this great High Court and this great judiciary, Karnataka, only for 11 months. So our testing time continues for a Chief Justice that had always been, as Brother Justice Oak was sharing, and he had that added feature of COVID also to deal with. Brother Justice Avasti, as at present, is dealing with maybe something remain due of homeworking on my part. So in this valedictory presentation, I'll try to cover up a bit of it, but as it has been promised already that we would be meeting again and again, so I look forward to meet again and to take a supplementary examination if needed, if I do it here, right? Anyway, thanks a lot to all having invited us here to share a few thoughts. As it was rightly commented yesterday also and today also, these meets have multiple purposes with it. To take stock of what we have hitherto done, to appreciate where do we stand as on today, to make promises for the future, and at the same time have some clarity of our roadmaps, our plans, our action. What do we really propose to do? Where do we really propose to proceed to? And what is the destination? What is the goal in mind? Friends, before saying a few words of my thoughts in relation to what we all are doing, we all are supposed to be doing, and we would definitely be doing, particularly with reference to the legal aid, the promise of Article 39A, the legal aid and the legal services in their different variations. A background of what I propose to share with you on the thoughts. I'm tempted to refer to the story about the building of China Wall. That's, as we all know, this is the only man-made structure which is visible from the space when you look at the Great Wall of China. Wall of China, the concept was that it will create this wall and encircle the area. Invasions we would be able to guard against. There would be safety, a fortress would come up. The wall was built, it stands. So far as its building was concerned, the workmanship, the material was no problem, of highest quality class. The concept was also clear. But then the history of 100 or 200 years down the line after completion of the wall, that is how the history goes, had been that the invasions continued, intrusions continued, and without anybody even attempting to climb the wall, jump over the wall, use mortars or use any bombardment over the wall, but intrusions continued. What was done was very simple. What was done was to bribe the guards and have the gates open and to ensure entry without fighting with the wall. Friends, we build any wall, have all the concepts. As the moral of that story goes, they forgot to build up character. And that is what is needed. You build up the concepts, we propose the plans, we come out with the schemes, we have honest, bona fide, good ideas. The persons to implement them, the character building there, the machinery, the man who would be manning, even as they say that even an unmanned flight is also required to be manned by somebody. Character building is necessary. The concept has always been, you have any plan, you have any idea, but then capacity and character of the persons dealing with it, implementing it, has to be built alongside the plan itself. Thankfully, in the projections which we make with reference to, particularly with reference to judiciary, any task which is given to the judiciary, of course, the core task of justice delivery through the regular mechanism of the court processes remains there, and dedication, commitment, involvement to that fundamental of the duty, right from the newest entrant of a junior division officer to the judge of the Supreme Court. Everybody attends on the duties. The duties connected with or parallel to those duties, like state legal services, like judicial academies. Again, they are equally attended at, they are equally dedication and devotion of the judicial officers, as also all the role players is in sight, is in play. A few aspects related therewith, friends, I propose to underscore. First, when we have gathered here yesterday and to commence our celebrations of the Silver Jubilee of Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, there had been, of course, the great learned persons, our elders, our seniors, who have given us a lot to understand, who had been our guides, our friends, our philosophers. We always rely upon them. We look towards them whenever we are looking for any clarity, we are looking for answers to several of the queries. We had the felicitations of our Honorable Patrons-in-Chief. We had our felicitation of the Honorable past executive chairpersons. It's a great sight. In fact, I was sharing with Justice Lalit yesterday, after all those felicitations, because I was also a beneficiary of those felicitations as being the Chief Justice here. I said that food basket in the lab was missing yesterday. So, anyway, hope to get that soon. But, friends, apart from our Honorable Patrons-in-Chief, Honorable Executive Chairpersons, Honorable Judges, we cannot forget the services of our member secretaries to start with, our District Legal Services Authority secretaries. And down the line you go right up to the person maybe standing last in the queue or the row, the paralegal volunteer, or even a stenographer of your office. Everybody plays his or her role to the same dedication and commitment. Yesterday, when we were discussing a few things, a promise was made that maybe 5 years later, when we will gather again, we will be again taking stock of the things. By that time, we would have traversed so many of the paths. You would have achieved so many other things. This is Silver Jubilee. So that Pearl anniversary, the 30th anniversary that we do, well, I would humbly suggest, request, and hope to see that apart from felicitation of our great guides, our patron-in-chief and executive chairpersons, we do felicitate our paralegal volunteers also equally. Everybody. In fact, the success stories, whatever are the success stories, and I have been sharing that so far, Karnataka is concerned, and that is more or less to our entire country. But the units in our federal structure, if you look at the states, we find, friends, as Brother Justice Oak made a pertinent comment, and I would wholeheartedly join it, that in the national context, the recognition part came when being known as a part of Karnataka, right? Friends, that recognition part in Karnataka, I endorse and at the same time say that it has not been the recognition of me alone. It had been a recognition of the collaboration, the cooperative of all of you being together. That is how a Chief Justice is able to do. That is what Karnataka judiciary is, the Karnataka society is, and that is why that is how we had been able to do or contribute a little bit of it. So the contribution of everybody is by no means secondary. The persons behind the scenes, unsung heroes, unknown faceless people, and some of them have been dedicated themselves to these causes. Well, we salute them, we respect them, we remember them these days. Friends, talking of Article 39, we as students of law appreciate the development of our legal systems, particularly of our constitutional philosophies. When we recollect that 42nd Amendment, Article 39A, 43A and 48A were the three articles inserted, apart from other articles. They were inserted to the directive principles of state policy. There had been, after change of several of the scenarios, 43rd and 44th Amendment, maybe several of the questionable part of 42nd Amendment were taken out, but not these three articles, 39A, 43A and 48A, as also Chapter 4A of the Constitution of India, even by the 42nd Amendment. Even after, 44th Amendment. Friends, if we look at the progression of our societies, our constitution, and we just divide them, divide our progression, maybe broadly in three parts. Say up to 1979, when so many things were in the making, we ultimately culminated into 44th Amendment to the Constitution. We came a long way, but then by the time we were able to define exactly where do we stand and where do we really want to go. The next few years, maybe before the advent of 21st century, were again the times where new concepts were inserted, but at the same time, whatever we have understood we started implementing them, we started defining them. We need not name any particular case for that matter, but yes, we know that how we had progressed. But then, up came 21st century, and suddenly the progression has been rapid and the challenges have also been equally rapid. But our response has also been, well, of the similar nature, directly proportional to that. If we compare it with the running of the vehicle, maybe in this third segment, our vehicle is if found running in top gear, well, we are also in a position to negotiate all the curves, crossroads, uphills, downhills. They'll keep on coming, but we as a well-knit society, which is protected by our constitution, nurtured by our constitution, and we nurture the constitution, we serve the constitution. With that, well, we are in a position, we find ourselves in a position that if we are talking of this metaphor of a running vehicle, a big landslide and a big road blockade in the name of COVID-19 also came. Maybe somewhere some progression was retarded a bit or maybe stopped, but it couldn't deter us from proceeding ahead. As for the stories of we, the Indian as a whole, being able to combat this COVID-19 pandemic is remarkable. It has its own stories of our commitments. We are sure that 100 years later, when the historians would be writing about this particular era, well, there would be the stories of determination, the stories of our commitment, the stories as to how this country, we all were able to combat it togetherness. That particular togetherness is the hallmark of all our activities. Legal Services Authority is no different. Friends, free legal aid, when we talk of, a background aspect when going through these philosophies, we need to just remind ourselves, we need to, just for our clarity, as to what we are doing and how some part of our doing is different than the doing of other disciplines. I'm reminded of a speech of our beloved late President of India, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. This speech was delivered by him during the year 1955 when he was the Vice President of India at the Gujarat University convocation. One of the points made there was very pertinent and significant for our understanding when we are doing this particular work, when we are talking about the State Legal Services Authority and the concepts. Dr. Radhakrishnan indicated that statistics, economics, politics, and psychology, they all are empirical sciences. They give us facts, what is there. We very many times have the statistics with us. We have with us even the psychology also with us. They essentially give us data. They essentially give us as to what is what. How to go about a particular thing in the society, he said, is an area of social philosophy and social ethics. That is where you need, the point made was that apart from the Department of Social Sciences, you need the Department of Social Philosophy and Social Ethics more. Friends, when we remind ourselves of these great words and look at as to what is expected of us to do in legal services authorities, by way of, well, these services which are meant, just commencing from, which are having their base in Article 39A, or maybe prior to that also those philosophies. These are meant for, to my mind, ensuring that our social philosophy does not remain a discourse in a theory classes alone, not a discourse in our auditoriums alone. We are on the field, we are ensuring it that when the promises of justice, social, economic and political, well, these aspects related with social, economic and political, maybe we have all the facts, all the figures, all the data, but when it comes to justice, it becomes social engineering. The services which we are doing in legal services authority is more of social engineering, ensuring it that whatever are the promises made, well, they are in fact at the grassroots, at the ground level, well, they indeed, whatever are the concepts, they indeed reach where they should reach. That is where the call for justice. When we have to do, when we are doing this, what is needed is that there ought to be a clarity about. Whenever there is a call for justice, we talk about, our motto is access to justice for all. Well, whenever there is a call for justice, now access to justice may be providing a gateway to entry, but then gateway alone will not do. Well, we have to ensure that reaching destination justice. Now reaching destination justice, to start with, in our legal services authorities, well, we provide for gateways, but then after that gateway also, we need to have a clarity about pathways. Then we need to have a clarity about location for a particular cause as to where the justice lies. You can draw an equivalent, something like a pin on a Google map. Then precisely you know for a particular cause where the pin is, where you have to reach. That all is beautifully defined, that all is with clarity defined by our judicial officers, our legal aid lawyers, our paralegal volunteers, again, all working in tandem and working together. The concept and the idea is to well empower the passenger, that is the person in need of that particular justice, acquire a particular cause. Himself is empowered to will traverse the path himself, to proceed ahead himself. Lawyers, judges, PLVs, when we talk about their respective roles, we have been talking about particularly the legal aid lawyers and the concept as to and the idea, the challenges as to what is needed to be done. Friends, we need to here again, well, refine our thoughts into, well, amongst the judges too. Well, when we have our junior most judges, that is to say the fresh entrants in the judicial office, our junior division officers, or maybe even senior division officers also for that matter, well, we expect them to hold legal aid clinics. They do hold legal aid clinics. What is needed and what would remain a requirement on the part of each one of the senior judges, be it the senior district judge, or be it the honorable judge of the High Court, or be it a judge of the Supreme Court, on the part of anybody who is senior, to always make it sure, always being in connect with the person who is performing at the grassroots, who is working at the grassroots, who is to have communication directly with the persons in need, whether you are educating them on the legal rights, educating them on the rights and wrongs, or you are ensuring as to where lies justice for a particular cause. But then it comes to the seniors always to guide their juniors or their associates, the younger people. Same would apply to the legal aid lawyers too, and require the legal aid lawyers. The things are required to be taken care of, particularly by District Legal Services Authority more. We expect a legal aid lawyer. There have been certain concepts as to how do you will ensure the best of the legal aid being available to the person in need, as was indicated in percentage figures also, that when 65% people are below poverty line and they are otherwise in need of the legal services, but we have nearly 5% only the legal aid lawyering being available to them. The point for all of us to think about and go about is the responsibility of the seniors. One of the ways of ensuring it, or taking a promise from, or taking a kind of a commitment from the seniors to do pro bono services is one part. But alongside that, what is needed is the continuous involvement of the learned senior lawyers, the learned senior members of the bar, not necessarily designated senior, the learned senior members of the bar, two ways. One, they themselves conducting pro bono cases, legal aid lawyering, and secondly, they helping their younger persons, their juniors. There are concepts of how do you evaluate the services rendered by the legal aid lawyers. And the concepts have been that you evaluate them with reference to, their performance or the client's satisfaction, that is, the satisfaction of that particular person to whom the legal aid has been given, etc. In the context of our country, India, this satisfaction level that itself may be sometimes misnomer. It may not be giving a complete idea, because the person to whom the legal aid is being given, he himself is not very sure as to what he really wants, or what are his legal rights, or what could be done. So, educating, making it sure that competent legal aid is given is a process that requires a continuous attention on the part of the seniors, but at the same time, I would say that when so many things are said about the seniors, our students are also here. It is a part where even for the students also it is equally relevant for that purpose. For their professors also it's equally relevant to understand. First of all, for their professors, providing for the course curriculums, providing some place for making it sure that when you are a lawyer, providing legal aid is a part of your lawyering, a part of your overall personality, a part of your system. So it's not that legal aid lawyering is left for a few ones only, or for a few persons only to understand. From there, if we start from our universities, and our students are made the part of legal aid clinics, and in various jurisdictions we have ensured our students participating in legal aid clinics so enthusiastically, so efficiently, that in the later years when they were the lawyers, taking up pro bono services or legal aid lawyering was becoming a part of even otherwise their professional services. They were voluntarily looking at and providing quality legal services. So our law colleges do make a lot of difference. The State Legal Services Authority, National Legal Services Authority under the aegis of National Legal Services Authority can definitely take a step ahead and will have the collaboration in the law colleges for the purpose of making it sure that we provide our students the basics, the concepts that legal aid lawyering is a part of their lawyering, a part of their degree of law. Then they would be willing, they would be voluntary legal aid lawyers and are rendering better services. Friends, a quick word to my friends of media also. Reporting about an accident is required, but at the same time, reporting about the rescue operations, reporting about the help rendered, reporting about aid rendered is equally necessary, is equally required. Very many times, what had been the deprivation, what had been the want gets reported. But a paralegal volunteer who is otherwise not looking for, his publicity or name, he would render a service, it will go unnoticed. Maybe he has taken tears off somebody's eye. He has in fact handed down services. These are these stories of selfless services need attention. If they are given attention, they go a long way. Again, in all these efforts, friends, ultimately go in capacity building of each and every role player, and that is how we all will progress together. We have seen my personal experience as a part of Karnataka Legal Services Authority. The Chief Justice of the High Court of Karnataka had been, apart from all, several such schemes being regularly implemented, taken up. The attentiveness of our judiciary, the subordinate judiciary particularly, and more particularly the attentiveness of the member secretaries who were functioning at that time. Two of them are adorning the bench now. I recollect that in one of the public interest litigations, apart from in other jurisdictions also we have done, in Meghalaya as a Chief Justice of Meghalaya High Court also I dealt with the Legal Services Authority, coming out with the public interest litigations whenever there was a requirement, and with very effective results. There were public interest litigations here also by Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, but away and apart from that, our officers are capable of doing wonders, and one of the, it was not as such a wonder I would say, but the involvement and the kind of services they are provided, that dealing with one particular public interest litigation concerning the potholes, when there was a requirement of having a precise to the point report with probably some more intrinsic details of the engineering. And when we were looking for a methodical report, but with a clarity about understanding of not only about engineering, because a part of engineering team was going to be a part of the commission. We wanted a refined judicial officer also to be a part of that team, but at the same time, not to take away any judicial officer from his regular judicial working. We chose the member secretary of the Karnataka State Legal Services Authority to be a part of that commission. And well, I can assure you, the precise to the point report which we got, well, had been, well, of a great assistance in the court being able to do, well, better in its perception, in its, first of all, comprehension of the facts, and thereafter deciding as to what to do further. District Legal Services Authority, now we have full-time secretaries. It is, again I would repeat, their work is not merely of data collection, or not merely of presenting neatly prepared reports. It's much more than that. It's a continuous process. They do well get involved. The requirement again on the part of all of us is that we involve them more and more, but with regular monitoring. That is, these are their requirements, friends. They would be continuously being, would remain there. We have done a lot, but there would always be a need of the things further to be done. We have the promise to go on doing it to the best of our ability. 5 years later, when we meet again, friends, the promise is that we would meet with the stories of more successes, stories of, well, extra work done, something done which even until now or today we have not thought of, having traversed through the different reasons, having negotiated any such kind of challenge, be it COVID-19, and as COVID-19 also, well, as it could mutate itself and go on presenting himself with different variants, probably he doesn't know that we as Indians are capable of mutating much faster than COVID-19. We'll continue to do that. Thank you so very much. We'll continue to do this. That is a promise made to all, by all of us, to all of us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Valedictory function now. I request Honorable Shri Justice P.S. Dinesh Kumar, Judge High Court of Karnataka and Chairman High Court Legal Services Committee to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Dignitaries of the days, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of the Khalsa and Karnataka High Court, I extend and convey our very respectful gratitude to His Lordships, Justice Dinesh Maheshwari, Justice who are patrons in chief of Khalsa in Bengaluru in their capacity as the Chief Justices, and presently the Judges of the Supreme Court who have taken out their time out of their busy schedule and graced this our 25th year celebration. Thank you very much for your kind presence and the blessings, sir. Our beloved Honorable Chief Justice, Justice Rituraj Avasthi, who is the patron chief of the Khalsa, has been the driving force, and by his continued guidance, we have been able to successfully complete this program of 25 years celebration. Thank you very much. Honorable Judges, Justice Venugopal Gowda, former judge of the Karnataka High Court, who are present in this function this evening. We are grateful to you, sir. Mr. Jain, Secretary of the National Legal Services Authority, member secretaries of all legal services, district legal services authorities, principal district judges, and the Registrar General of the High Court, all of the registrars, judicial officers, lawyers, advocates, invitees, paralegal workers, media persons, and each and every person who has been present, who has worked with us shoulder to shoulder, directly or indirectly, in making this function a great success. We convey our gratitude and we remain indebted to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So just before wrapping up till this evening's program, may I request all of you to kindly stand up for the national
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, everyone.